Hey everybody, today I kind of wanted to go over something interesting that I kind of realized is going on with gaming and its specs. And I kind of brought this up because a lot of people are starting to discuss about the new Mirror's Edge specs because they were just released for the PC gaming. And also, if you're wondering why I haven't really been discussing a lot of Mirror's Edge, even though it's coming out, even though there's about almost 20 minutes worth of gameplay already on the internet, I'm kind of want to go into this game a bit blind, so that's kind of why I haven't even watched a lot of those things. I saw only 10 minutes of it just so I can get an idea of it, but overall I don't want to see it just because of the fact that I want the full experience when I actually play it, so I don't want it to be predictable when I start, so that's why I haven't been playing that. But to get on to the main topic, are video game specs kind of getting ridiculous, or is there actually good reasoning for this? And this kind of has been a bit of a discussion lately just because of the fact that Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the minimum recommended required is 6 gigabytes worth of RAM, which isn't bad. I mean, it's alright. A lot of people have 8, so this is kind of fine. But when you look at the actual recommended one, that's 16 gigabytes. 16! What the fuck? Am I sending this shit to the moon? What? 16. And that's kind of a big gap, honestly, for, between minimum and recommended. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of a big jump. This situation doesn't really affect me, but I kind of wondering what's going down with this. Now, this isn't the only video game that had 16 gigabytes recommended. Dying Light, if I remember correctly, also had 16 gigabytes recommended as well. And unfortunately, there are a lot of gamers out there who do not have 16 gigabytes. Now, you don't need 16 to actually run the damn game. It's just recommended. So you don't even have to have 16. So we don't even have to have this fucking discussion. But the reason why I want to is because of the fact that I think we're actually finally moving in that age to where we're actually going to this almost 4K kind of idea worth of gaming. And I know this has been a discussion for a bit of, hey, are we actually ever going to go into 4K gaming? And this is a little hard to believe of us going to that, because I still can't comprehend how fast we're moving with technology of us moving into 4K. And I've seen 4K in use. I know people with 4K cameras, and it's the most beautiful shit in the world. If you guys have never used 4K before, it is a whole experience of itself. So since I'm used to seeing 4K, I kind of know the looks and difference between 4K and not 4K. And looking at Mirror's Edge Catalyst, it does not look 4K. So it's a little weird and a little awkward to where they kind of want to kind of recommend us to have a 16 gigabytes worth of RAM. For a game, we're kind of not going to get 4K, and this is kind of recommended for, the really high powered, PCs out there. So are we kind of going into this shift? And if we are, I don't think a lot of us are honestly pretty damn ready for it, because upgrading can take a lot of time and some money from people, and not everyone could really afford it. And I feel like we're kind of pushing out the gamers who unfortunately don't have a lot of money. We're kind of pushing them aside and kind of telling them, oh well, you don't have a couple of, I don't know, almost $1,000. You don't have 800. I guess you're not playing video games now. And that's kind of sad, because I don't want to sound like old school or anything, but I'm kind of used to this idea of everything was never really this expensive for gaming. And if I find myself almost every year surprised of how much, all this shit is costing, and I'm just like, damn, I had to upgrade. I'm actually in the middle of upgrading right now too, for my PC. I actually am upgrading because we are advancing more and more with technology, and because of this, my current system cannot function that great anymore, to where I recognize that I definitely need an upgrade, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And I feel bad for a lot of the people who cannot either one, afford it or just don't see the value in it. It's kind of now we're at the point to where you really have to be in almost in gaming like hardcore just to invest this much time and money into it. And I know everyone always says, well, build your own PC, it's a lot cheaper. And yes, that's true. You get to pick the specs you want, all the details. That is all true. But this is a time versus money thing. Not everyone has time to do this, to go build it, even though it doesn't take that long. Like for me, honestly, my schedule is tight from the morning, the second I get up to the moment I lay down, my schedule is tight. And, there are other people out there who also have tight schedules. And, some people are forced to kind of spend a lot of money for it to have it pre-built, even though I'm not a big fan of pre-built really, but that's a whole other discussion right there. And so all these crazy spec requirements, and it may not just be the fact that we're getting, maybe we're just getting something really great in the game. This can also kind of be a negative thing, because it's really weird how the consoles don't get this, but yet the PC gamers get hit the most with this, and that kind of sucks for PCs. I jump forward between console and PCs. I play on both. I don't mind. It really depends on the individual game that I decide whether I'm going to get it on PC or a console. And this Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I decided to get it on console for a couple reasons, but I'm actually kind of glad now after seeing the specs, because I probably won't upgrade until, my specs until after the game comes out. And I really want to play this game day one. And now I can just imagine like some of the people who were going to get this on PC now, like frantically rushing to get, an upgrade for their specs. And so I don't know what you guys have to say about this. Like, I really want to have this discussion on like specs with video games. I was a little caught off guard with the Mirror's Edge one. Hopefully this is nothing, but I don't know. 16 is it's kind of a lot for Mirror's Edge. I mean, I kind of did not expect a lot for Mirror's Edge. If anything, 8 or 10, but 16, I don't know about that. Either way, tell me what you guys think about this. This is kind of odd. Not a lot of games do this. This is, wow. Yeah. And have a great day.